I think the Fed's 2% target, that is this golden level, is going to be very hard to achieve, especially on a core basis for a sustained period of time.
Do you think that 2% target means anything, or do you think that they'll change it? Like, one of the things that we talked about for a while was like, do they just change it from 2 to 3 and claim victory and say, hey, now we're below our 3% target, and like that ends up being good enough?
I think they had the chance to do that for years, and they made it clear they're not. I mean, every single Fed meeting, the speculation going into it was, will the Fed raise their target? Will they even raise it to 2.1 or 2.2? They're not changing it. And it's kind of like the golden rule for economists, 2% inflation. I can't remember where it started, economists back in the day. It was like, and all of a sudden everyone kind of stuck to that rule. I don't see them changing that.
And so if we stay at elevated levels, I think that you see, Paul Tudor Jones, Stanley Druckenmiller, many others talking about this kind of investment portfolio approach of going to gold, Bitcoin. Even I was surprised that Paul Tudor Jones publicly said that he thinks the NASDAQ is being used as an inflation hedge. But just they seem to be very convinced that inflation will be higher than that 2% target for the foreseeable future. And that's your view as well?
I 100% agree. I think, and just think about it, right? We have rate cuts. It's very strange. Like, logically speaking, you have elevated inflation, but we're cutting rates at the fastest pace since 2008, other than the 2020 over 0% rates overnight, effectively. It's just weird. It's like and we also have an economy that has maximum employment. The Fed said it, but Jerome Powell literally said it himself. Even 4.5% unemployment is maximum employment by economic definition of under 5%. So it's like we're cutting as if we're in a recession or something, but the data doesn't suggest we are. Everyone's saying we're on track for a soft landing, and inflation isn't at 2%. Right. And it's you can say they're lagging indicators, but it's just core inflation has been stubborn. And I think we're going to see some more potential upside in inflation next year. And
so because we got that 50 basis point rate cut, but inflation is not down to 2%. Core is definitely not down there. Actually, core is 50% plus higher than their target, and they're cutting. Why do you think they did 50 basis points?
That's the mystery. I really think the Fed looked at what happened. Okay, there's two camps. There's obviously the whole political camp, which I'm not necessarily in that camp that, Biden's telling him to cut rates 50